Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you. For the record. Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome to For the Record. Today, of course, is Wednesday, the 31st day of July, 2019. So July, after today, July 2019 is gone, and we will welcome 1st of August. I trust that everyone who's listening, watching this morning, that you had an enjoyable night and that all that you do today will be positive and that you also will be successful in whatever you are trying to achieve today. As well, those of you who are on the roads of the Cayman Islands, again, we urge you to be extremely careful. Ensure that you observe the rules of the road and remember that the life you save may be your own. Those of you who are celebrating a birthday today, again, we say to you, happy birthday. Have fun. Whatever you do, do it in moderation, as well. For those of you who have lost loved ones over the past few days, we extend our sincerest condolences to you, and we hope and trust that your faith will take you through these very challenging times. And of course, our prayers are with our colleague here at Radio Cayman, Miss Orrett Connor as well, who unfortunately lost her father. And again, our condolences go out specifically to Miss Paulette and her family this morning as well. Folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman and by extension For the Record into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, whether it be an office cubicle or if you're working in the outdoors. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I am your host, Orrett Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. Our phone lines are always open. There is always someone there waiting to take your calls. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be that beautiful, beautiful radio voice of Miss Susan Watson. You can call us on our toll-free number, provided courtesy of Flo. That toll-free number is 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and 949-6990. Email us at fortherecord, that is one word, fortherecord at candw.ky. WhatsApp us on 925-3261, where we encourage you to send us a text message or leave us a voice note, the contents of which will be played during the course of the show. And of course, you can follow us on YouTube simply by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream. Yesterday, if you listened, and I trust that you did, if you listened to the talk today, you know that Sterling Dwayne Banks had as his guest in the studio the Honorable Premier, Alden McLaughlin, Deputy Premier, Honorable Moses Cockernell, and Chief Officer, Mr. Strand Borden. They were talking about the cruise berthing and port facility, and that conversation will continue again this morning also. So the phone lines will be open. We encourage you to call in if you have any questions, any observations, or, like I said, if you want to email us at For the Record, one word, For the Record, at candw.ky, and or WhatsApp number 925 3261 as well. We encourage you to participate in the discussion. This is what it's all about, to inform you, but also to hear from you, to hear your views as well. So without any further ado, it is my pleasure to introduce to you the Deputy Premier and Minister for District Administration, Tourism, and some other things as well. We'll get it all right soon. The Honorable Moses Colonel. Deputy Premier, Minister, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, sir. Thank you very much for that kind introduction. I don't think you left out too much. Let me say a very pleasant good morning to the listening audience. And, of course, I have to have a big shout-out this morning to everybody in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman that are listening. So.
Excellent. And also we have with us the Chief Officer in the Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport, Mr. Strandbod. Mr. Bodden, good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. I'm fine. Good morning too as well. Okay, yesterday, very, very good discussion on talk today, Sterling Greeny Banks. I listened attentively and certainly had quite a number of callers as well, which is good because the dialogue needs to continue, and hopefully we will continue that dialogue this morning as well. Now, I know that some people are familiar with the whole process, but what I'd like for the both of you to do for a listening and viewing audience is to we know where the point that we're at now, and we will discuss that, but how we actually got to this point, what obstacles along the way, what hurdles had to be overcome to actually get us to this point. So like Mr. Thomas Seymour used to say, we're going to start the show, at the beginning.
Okay, quite happy to.
Yes.
I just make mention that Premier will join us at 8 o'clock,
yes.
So I think if we can spend some time, as you say, updating where we are, then he'll be here as well, because I know he wants to participate.
Certainly.
I think it would be prudent for us to start from when I became minister, when the Premier gave me my ministry two elections ago. I went to the ministry and found a working document that had been put forward by the previous Minister of Tourism. And Mr. Bodden was the chief officer at that time, so he was one of the genesis of bringing this forward. The reason it had to be brought forward in that way is because the government was under the framework for fiscal responsibility. Our budget had to be looked at by the Foreign Commonwealth Office, and it had to be signed off on. So any major project over $10 million had a process that had to be gone through. When the first was looked at, it was the next step in that was an outline business case. Mm-hmm. And the outline business case goes out to a request for a proposal from what we consider best in class, because you have the E&Ys of the world, the KPMGs, the PwCs, all the globally recognized institutions, so to speak, that do these kind of business cases. And PwC won the request for proposal, and their mandate was to look at the opportunities for the Cayman Islands and to say whether we should continue in cruise tourism and what kind of infrastructure and assets directly pointed at a cruise berthing facility would be needed to continue in this direction. Mm-hmm. I can tell you today that cruise tourism is 30% of our tourism business. So if I could get CO to walk through those next steps that actually take us, I think that's in your update. But there are milestone dates there that we reached and continued.
Mr. Barton.
Thank you, Deputy Premier, and good morning to everyone. Before I get to the actual procurement timeline, just following on from your timeline, Deputy Premier. So after the outline business case was prepared, we went to public consultation on it as required by law. We then moved on to an EIA terms of reference which we did public consultation on. To the EIA itself, we went up for RFP, and Baird, as we all know, won that. They conducted that EIA over approximately 18 months. We then took that to public consultation. Because of the feedback and the results of that EIA, we felt confident in moving forward with preliminary design, which Royal Haskoning out of London won through an RFP. Having done that and found that we could, after public consultation, move it into deeper water, we moved forward with actual RFP for the commercial financial advice on the actual procurement itself. So KPMG, through an RFP process, won that, and we entered or went out to pre-qualification on the 15th of May 2017. That pre-qualification closed the 20th of July 2017, and 11 submissions were received.
Okay.
So after that, in the end of November, 30th of November 2017, by that time we had chose 9 of the 11, and we invited them to submit an outline solution. We chose the top 9 of the 11. Those submissions were due the 16th of March 2018, and out of those 9, 5 were received. So we got 5 submissions back. On the 30th of November 2018, by that time we had chose 3 of the 5, the top 3, and we invited them to submit a final tender. Bringing it into the close, 31st of May 2019 was the deadline for that submission, and out of the 3 that we invited to submit, 1 bid was received. And then the evaluation of that bid took place in June. A report was sent to Central Tenders Committee on the 12th of July, and we appeared before the Central Tenders Committee on the 22nd of July. That was last Monday.
Yes.
so that's pretty much up to date. Mm-hmm. We then went to caucus and cabinet that week and received approval with the selected preferred bidder, Verdant Isle Port Partners.
Mm-hmm. So up to that stage, that final stage, only 1 bid then was submitted.
Yes, sir. But we didn't obviously know that there was only going to be one
Mm-hmm.
until the deadline, and the deadline had passed.
Okay. Were there any issues with that as far as the Central Tenders Committee was concerned, that it was the only 1 bid as opposed to wanting probably having 2 or 3?
No, sir. I mean, it changed it a bit, but what we had done is prepared a budget estimate to be able to compare it to for value for money. Mm-hmm. So we had something that we could compare to. I mean, typically why you go out for procurement is for competition, which drives the best price. Yes. and best value for money. However, the 1 bid that we received did not know that they were going to be the 1 bid. They thought they were up against 2 others. So that still drove the competitiveness of their submissions, mm-hmm, and their bid, mm-hmm, and their
precisely,
price.
Yes.
So it was not known that they were, going to be the only one.
And their bid came in on time. I think that's
right.
important.
Yeah, it was only one.
It was following that. And the other part of it is that on the outset of looking at this, there were a couple things that government put into the guidelines. One was no upland development. Mm-hmm. No upland development is a big issue because it then takes away a certain revenue stream for whoever is the licensee. The second was that because of the position the government was in, PwC, making the recommendation, had to also make a recommendation of what kind of model could be used. And the public-private partnership is a model that had been used globally. Not that we'd used it before, but that they made the recommendation of. The other part was that we gave them a mandate that we would not accept a proposal that took the management of the Port Authority out of the hands of the Port Authority of the Cayman Islands. And that's extremely important because if you look at, number one, the percentage of Caymanians that work at the Port Authority, high 90. I mean, it's a model company, statutory authority, that does some very, very good things for the country. The second is that it then gave them and gave the country the assurance that it was going to continue to be held and run. And then obviously managing that means you are the receiver of the cash that comes in.
Right.
And then you're also in a position on a daily basis that you handle. They have a responsibility to maintain, but you're watching and guiding on a daily basis. So at the end of the 25-year license, this facility is turned over completely to the people of the Cayman Islands and back to the Port Authority from the license holder.
Okay.
So we're very pleased with that.
Okay. We're going to take a commercial break now, a little bit past it. When we return, the conversation with Deputy Premier, the Honorable Moses Colonel, and his Chief Officer, Mrs. Strand Borden, will continue. So please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the historical vignette series, sponsored by Cayman National Bank. Visit Cayman National Bank today for all of your financial needs. The Cayman Islands, he hath founded it upon the seas.
In 1950, the controversial topic of mixing of racial demographic of the Cayman Islands was explored by Edwin Beale Doran using the census from 1802 to 1943, which distinguished between black, white, and colored segments of the Cayman Islands population. The trend observed by the cultural preferences of the three races identified that due to the strong feelings of white women only procreating with white men and colored women only procreating with colored or white men, that the natural population of blacks significantly decreased, the whites remained the same, and the colored population increased. In 1802, blacks outnumbered whites by 3 to 2. The colored population represented only 8% of the population, but by 1870, the three races were virtually equal. However, by 1911, the black population was reduced to a mere 20%, and by 1943, the colored population had reached 55%, with the Cayman Islands having proportionally fewer blacks than any other territory in the region.
Radio Cayman's Historical Facts vignettes are proudly brought to you by Cayman National, with branches on all 3 Cayman Islands. Visit Cayman National Bank today for all of your financial needs.
When you need stability, think Business of the Year.
Considering a new career opportunity, think Best Place to Work.
When dependability matters, think Outstanding Workforce.
In need of a reliable financial partner? Think Bank of the Year.
When you seek excellence, think Cayman National.
No matter how many accomplishments we achieve, we always set the bar higher. That's why we are the most awarded bank in Cayman, and we are proud to be your
2018 Bank of the Year.
Have you seen the latest? Cayman has been ranked the most expensive place to live. It's time to buy smart. It's time to buy Ropers. Find everything for your home and kitchen at low prices at Ropers. Ropers Janitorial, 949-2511. Email janitorial@ropers.ky. Clean up your spending with Ropers Janitorial, 949-2511. Ropers Janitorial also offers complete janitorial service for commercial, industrial, and residential. They get the job done right every time. Ropers Janitorial, 949-2511.
It was a day that changed my life. No words can describe the feelings of seeing my baby boy sick for the first time. The overwhelming feeling of fear to be responsible for his health and happiness became my priority. So I did what any nurturing mother would do when their baby is sick. I took him to get some of the best medicine possible.
CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy understands the importance of careful decisions you make every day for your family. Our staff work towards healthcare excellence and providing the most current and up-to-date training with pharmaceutical care, so you can feel confident in knowing that your family is safe with the right medication. At CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy, we take care of your health.
I just love the warm ocean air.
Yeah? Your car doesn't.
What you mean?
Looks like salt air is eating your bump alive.
Stop rust before it starts with Z-Bot Rust Protection from Vant Motors. The extreme heat, salt spray, and wet tropical weather can damage your vehicle and greatly decrease its value. But Z-Bot's patented formula protects your car's metal seams, joints, and other hidden areas. There's no better rust protection out there than Z-Bot. So book today and keep the rust away. Call or visit Vant Motors Body Shop on Walker's Road. Your only authorized Z-Bot service in Cayman is now available at Vant Motors.
Sometimes having a middleman is not a bad thing, especially when it comes to insurance. Do you know that when it comes to cost, ease, speed, and peace of mind, insurance brokers ranked higher than when customers buy direct? So, for all your insurance needs, call Fidelity Insurance. We're the middleman you want. Call us today at 949-7822. Fidelity. We're good for you.
Have you ever felt that there is something bigger out there for you? Something more positive, something more powerful, something all good, something bigger than yourself? Do you want to give back to this community, your community? Together, Rotary Central, Rotary Sunrise, and the Rotary Club of Grand Cayman are hosting a membership meet and greet social Thursday, August 15th at Pepper's Restaurant, 5 to 7 p.m. Come along. Bring a friend. Find out what Rotary is all about, what Rotary is doing in your community. So, see you there, Thursday, August 15th at Pepper's Restaurant, 5 to 7 p.m. We're looking forward to meeting you. Rotary, connecting the world.
System 1 loaded. 1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're discussing the proposed cruise berthing facility here in the Cayman Islands, and we have been joined early by the Honorable Premier in the studio, as usual. He entered in like similar to when he's riding on the bike in the morning. We're heading back and we see this lone figure heading west, and somebody say, Is that the Premier? Sure enough, it's him. So we turn around and join him. So without any further ado, Mr. Premier, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning.
Defend yourself.
No bike riding this morning. No bike riding this morning. These are the shows, sort of interfere with that.
Yes.
Morning to the listening public. Good to be here.
Okay. We have about another 5-6 minutes before we go to our 8 o'clock news. So I'm going to pass the mic back over to the Deputy Premier.
Thank you. So now the Premier has joined us, I think we would just go back and actually mention that the preferred bidder was Verdant Isle Port Partners.
Yes.
And that the conglomerate that is made up by 4 different entities, one McAlpine, who we are extremely pleased, a local company that I don't think there's too many people in the Cayman Islands that haven't interacted with McAlpine or their employees or their management at some period of time. Well known, established, certainly delivered quite a few infrastructure projects and building projects to the country, so I don't think there's any question about their expertise. Royal Caribbean, Carnival, the 2 largest cruise lines in the world. And then Orion may not be a familiar name, but Meisner Marine certainly is, and they are now the parent company of Meisner. Meisner delivered the last port project here in Georgetown, and also the port facility in Cayman Brac.
Yes.
So I think that when the Major Projects Office brought to Caucus and CTC this preferred bidder, people were familiar with the names there, and I guess one of the questions we had heard quite a bit was China Harbor, and this made it very clear that China Harbor was not the preferred bidder. So I think there are 2 things, really. One is the finance model. It is a design, build, finance, maintain model. The other is what we do from the standpoint of the environment and the protection of the environment and the balance that has to be created between protecting the environment and the economic benefit of the Cayman Islands. So those are really discussion points this morning. Premier, I don't know if you want to hit the design model. I think you do that very, very well, the finance part of it.
Okay. Yep.
Well, yes, thank you, Moses. The point I've made, I think, over and over again is that one of the major criticisms and one of the issues that has caused a great concern amongst the general populace and has been exploited very well by the CPR group is that the government was unable to provide definitive details about the design of the port, the financing model for the port, and how the port itself was going, the construction project was going to be financed. And that was because, as the Deputy Premier has pointed out, this is a sort of unique tender in the sense that the bidder is required to produce both the design as well as to build the facility. And indeed, beyond that, to finance the project itself. So it was impossible for us to provide those details in advance of a successful tender. So that's where we're at now. And that's why we are at pains and will be over the course of the next couple of months to ensure that everybody in the population understands the nature of the project and its environmental impact and what it is going to deliver in terms of benefits to the country, how it is going to be financed, and who's going to build it.
Now you mentioned design, design, build, and
build, finance, and maintain.
Finance and maintain. Now, the design, of course, can you explain to our listening and viewing audience what that design entails? That it's not the design, whether or not the design is going to be the choice of the successful bidder, or the design is going to be what the government of the Cayman Islands wants.
Well, earlier we identified that some of the things that had to go into design was no upland development. Okay. We also talked about it was 4 berths and 2 piers. We also spoke about an environmental impact assessment being done. So there was a area of land in Georgetown by the Port Authority that was identified for where this could actually be designed to go in. Then after that, it was an open canvas of expertise coming back with the engineers and saying what was best in class as far as they looked at from the design. CO, I don't know if you have other...
Yes, sir. So I think you started off and made a good point that what the government provided was functional requirements.
Okay.
So as Deputy Premier said, 2 piers, 4 berths, no upland development. We gave them the basis for the design. Now, we also had other requirements in terms of number of parking spots for ground transportation, retail space, total square footage that you would build out. So these puzzle pieces, if I could use that analogy, had to fit into the space that was there. And obviously we couldn't, what had to be reclaimed to add to the port could not be, as much as we'd like, because then the piers had to come off of that piece of reclaimed property, and of course we have the drop off. So it had to fit in, as I said, as a puzzle to meet the requirements that we gave in terms of the criteria.
Excellent. Good time for us to take a break. Top of the hour, 8 o'clock. When we return after the 8 o'clock news, the conversation will continue with the Honourable Premier, Honourable Alden McLaughlin, Deputy Premier, Honourable Moses Colonel, and Chief Officer Mr. Strand Borden. I want to remind you that the phone lines will be open. Our toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037, 949-6990 as well. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back immediately after the 8 o'clock news.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. And studio time by Price Right is 8 a.m.
Priced Right is Grand Cayman's warehouse shopping superstore, making your dollar go further with huge savings and no membership fees. Get more of the things you use every day at the right price. But it's not just grocery and health and beauty. Priced Right has a full range of products from office to automotive, patio furnishings to kitchen appliances, and even electronics. And since warehouse prices mean savings for you, everything is priced right at Priced Right, Grand Cayman's warehouse shopping superstore. Access information. Your community. News and information. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller. A team of National Community Enhancement Project workers will continue on with the work of cleaning up sargassum. Radio Cayman's Dion Anglin has more.
According to a statement by Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure Minister, the Honorable Joey Hugh, the NICE project will be extended for another 2 weeks, but only for a small group who will focus on sargassum seaweed collection. The pilot program will involve a small crew with additional equipment, and the minister says the initiative will help government better assess the resources needed to manage the sargassum problem, which has plagued some of the island's beaches this year. During the initial NICE project, more than 200 tons of sargassum was collected. Reporting for Radio Cayman News, I'm Dion Anglin.
Today marks 8 years since 25-year-old Carrie Baker disappeared, and detectives are appealing for public assistance to solve the crime. Radio Cayman's April Cummings reports.
At the time of her disappearance, Carrie Baker was living in Boddentown. The last known images of the 25-year-old are CCTV screenshots showing her at the Airport Foster's location. Police say she had been answering texts and WhatsApp messages until about 7:45 p.m. on Saturday, the 30th of July, 2011. The following day, a friend reported her missing, and that same day, her white 1996 Honda Civic was found abandoned just across from Pedro St. James near the cemetery. A search of her apartment on Arrow Drive in Boddentown showed evidence of a struggle. Detectives with the Serious Crime Review Team have reactivated the investigation. They are treating it as a murder inquiry. Originally from Jamaica, Carrie was a clinical nurse with Premier Clinical Care. She had been living in Cayman since 2008. April Cummings, Radio Cayman News.
Detectives with the Serious Crime Review Team are asking anyone who may have information about the disappearance or anything they think could be relevant about the days leading up to her disappearance to contact Detective Constable John Southern during business hours at 649-4501. You can also email him at john.southern@rcips.ky. And the Treasury Department presents a budget analyst with the Chief Officer's Award for May, nominated by Budget and Planning Manager Karen Rivers and Deputy Accountant General Teresa Watlers. Chase Miller received the award for delivering an outstanding customer experience, one of the 5 categories in the Deputy Governor's Award Program. Other awardees for May include Jasmine Miles, Angela Midori, and Danielle Jackson. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which will take us out of the newscast. I'm Carsley Fuller from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
BBC News with David Austin. The Israeli government has given rare approval for the building of 700 Palestinian homes in the occupied West Bank, along with permission for another 6,000 homes for Jewish settlers. Some Israeli media have suggested this may be linked to efforts to assist the U.S. administration's peacemaking efforts. The British Prime Minister Boris Johnson, who's visiting Northern Ireland, has been warned of the grave dangers of a no-deal Brexit. Mary Lou MacDonald, the leader of the province's biggest nationalist party, Sinn Féin, said it could mean reinstating a hard border in Ireland, breaching the peace agreement that Britain and the EU have said they want to safeguard. A roadside bomb has hit a bus in western Afghanistan, killing at least 35 people. The bus was packed with women and children and university students. A court in Hong Kong has charged more than 40 people with rioting for their role in anti-government protests. They face 10 years in jail. Health officials in the Democratic Republic of Congo say they don't believe a second case of Ebola in the eastern city of Goma is linked to the first. The Red Cross says this means there could be more chains of transmission, making it harder to stop the virus spreading. Schools across Sudan have been closed indefinitely on the orders of the ruling military council after mass demonstrations over the shooting of protesting schoolchildren. 5 people were killed by the Sudanese military. Italy says an Italian Coast Guard ship will now let more than 100 migrants disembark after several EU countries agreed to take them in. They've been stranded aboard the ship. The Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives, Nancy Pelosi, has given an emotional address to Parliament in Ghana on the 400th anniversary of the first enslaved Africans arriving in America. BBC News.
Access. Information. What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiokman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio K-Man is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio K-Man.
JN Money Transfer, in association with Roma United Sports Club, present the official Jamaica Independence celebrations on Friday, August 2nd. Daytime activities take place on Cardinal Avenue from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. with the best Jamaican food, arts and craft display, free sampling and free health checks. Don't miss the free lunch hour concert, plus lots of prizes and giveaways. Nighttime concert over at Crown Square on Eastern Avenue, featuring international reggae and dancehall superstar Wayne Marshall, alongside Paul Train, Dream Chasers dancers, plus lots of local performers. Come participate in the Kids Talent Contest, Best Dress Competition, Dance Contest, and Hot Wings Eating Contest. Music by DJ Marcus. Come out early to win a 40-inch TV, plus lots of giveaways and prizes. Admission is free. Sponsored by Popeyes, Best Dressed Chicken, Magnum, People's Choice Grocery, Superior Auto, Ideas Marketing, Kmart Hair and Beauty Supply, Danny's Auto, Breeze FM, and Radio K-Man.
Each weekday, Monday through Friday, Miracle Brokers is the proud sponsor of Radio K-Man's Bulletin Board. For all your moving needs, call the professionals at Miracle Brokers, 949-5989 or 916-0355. For a free estimate, they take the hassle out of moving. Miracle Brokers.
Now located at 140 Kingbird Drive in the North Sound.
The Weather Report is proudly sponsored by Super Stitch Sewing and Fabric Center, your one-stop household store at 39 Pasador Place, Smith Road. Still offering the best prices in town. Call 949-2833 or go to superstitch.com.ky.
New stock has just arrived at Super Stitch. Now don't take my word for it. Drop by and see for yourself. Fresh off the boat, we have loads of fabric, vinyl upholstery fabric, fabric for cushions, outdoor fabrics, and dress fabric. That's not all. Super Stitch has sewing accessories and craft items. Included in the new shipment, you will find sheets, comforters, throw pillows, bath mats, rugs, and curtains for every room in your home. Super Stitch, 39 Pasador Place, Smith Road. Still offering the best price in town. Call 949-2833 or go to superstitch.com.ky.
Good morning. Time for the latest weather report. Current temperature is 81 degrees. Relative humidity is 97%. Barometric pressure 29.91 inches and rising. Winds are calm. Overnight low temperature was 77 degrees. Synopsis indicate isolated showers expected for the next 24 hours as patches of low-level cloudiness move off of eastern Cuba and into the Cayman area. Radar images show isolated showers in and around the Cayman area moving towards the southwest. Now the forecast for today and tonight calling for partly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of showers and possible thunder. And temperatures will be in the low 90s today and will fall to the upper 70s tonight. Your winds will be east to northeast at 5 to 10 knots and seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. Today's high tide will occur this morning at 8:25, low tide this afternoon at 2:57, and a high tide again tonight at 9:37. The sun will set this evening at 7 and will rise tomorrow morning at 3 minutes past 6. And the outlook is calling for an increase in cloudiness and shower activity from tomorrow morning as a tropical wave moves into the northwest Caribbean.
Super Stitch Sewing and Fabric Center was the proud sponsor of the Weather Report, your one-stop shop for all of your household items, craft items, jewelry, beads, and decorations, and much more. Call Super Stitch at 949-2833 or email customer care at superstitch.com.ky.
New stock has just arrived at Super Stitch. Now don't take my word for it. Drop by and see for yourself. Fresh off the boat, we have loads of fabric, vinyl upholstery fabric, fabric for cushions, outdoor fabrics, and dress fabric. That's not all. Super Stitch has sewing accessories and craft items. Included in the new shipment, you will find sheets, comforters, throw pillows, bath mats, rugs, and curtains for every room in your home. Super Stitch, 39 Pasador Place, Smith Road. Still offering the best price in town. Call 949-2833 or go to superstitch.com.ky.
Good morning once again. Let's take a look at traffic. Traffic steady on Huldah Avenue and traffic moving on moderately on Thomas Russell Way. Coming from the east on Shamrock Road and the Linford Pearson Highway, traffic is steady but flowing. Busy traffic on Crew Road, some sections steady. And coming off of Bobby Thompson Way, traffic is flowing steady as well. Light traffic on Owen Roberts Drive. No issues coming from the Westway 4-way stop. And traffic moving moderately on Godfrey Nixon Way and Eastern Avenue as well as North Sound Road. Remember 10-2 on the steering wheel and have a good morning and buckle up.
The best back-to-school sale is now at Reflections. Buy one, get one half price on all back-to-school shoes. Over 100 styles of your favorite brands. Nike, Adidas, Puma, Reebok, and more. Back-to-school savings on shoes for toddlers, children, teens, and adults. Buy one pair, get the second pair half price. Or buy one pair of shoes and get a backpack half priced. The best back-to-school sale at Reflections. Now located on Shedden Road, across from Napa Auto Parts. Beside Mango Tree. Reflections.
Hey, are those new glasses on Will?
Yeah, we went to Optical Outlook. Wham, bam, easy exam. Finally, an exam he could pass. And we had the glasses the next day. Easiest part of our back-to-school shopping for sure.
Book your child's eye exam today at Optical Outlook. Call 746-2020. Get half off a complete pair of glasses with any student's eye exam now until August 31st. Come see the difference with Optical Outlook, located in Caymanian Village.
For the record with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio, it is my pleasure to have Honorable Alden McLaughlin, Premier of the Cayman Islands, Deputy Premier of the Cayman Islands, Honorable Moses Colonel, and Chief Officer in the Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport, Mr. Strand Bawden. We're talking about the cruise berthing facility, talking about the press conference that took place on Monday. Prior to that, of course, the Premier made a statement in the Legislative Assembly of the Cayman Islands on Friday about the cruise berthing facility as well. And now they are in the process of advising the public, enlightening the public in terms of the whole process. So at some point in time during the show, we will also talk about the petition, people initiated referendum, where we're at with that, any questions that people may have with that process as well. But before we get to that, there are still things that we want to talk about the birthing facility itself. So I'll pass the mic again back over to the Deputy Premier.
Thank you, O.C. I think the next item that has been topical is the financing itself of the project. And what the government has said, Premier has articulated on many different occasions, that there will be no government guarantee, there will be no bond, there will be no exposure to government for the financing of the cruise berthing facility and the cargo port.
And no capital investment either.
Correct, and no capital investment. So the starting point of this is by looking at the cargo port as well. I think that's something that each person can touch and understand, because we deal with that on a daily basis. We see the containers, we see the deliveries, and we know we're a growing country, and the cargo port has to be expanded to meet the need over the next 5, 10, 15 years, and we have to move that forward. if we don't find a revenue stream that is going to pay for that expansion, then the port itself is going to have to fund that with the capital project, which will mean they have to find a revenue stream to pay off that money that will be borrowed. Obviously, that will mean an increase on prices that go over the port, and that's a cost of living issue. So this model incorporates that in it, and the reason that there is no investment and guarantee from government is because the model that was proposed uses the head tax for the understanding of each person that comes to the Cayman Islands on a cruise vessel pays a head tax. And that money will be used to finance the option that we have chosen at this point, which is an option 2, right at $197 million, which includes the port upgrade and expansion. So what that means is that the money that a ship now pays, which is divided between the tenders and the port, will go to the receiver, which will be the Port Authority itself. And I'll ask Chief Officer to go through the exact numbers, but we're going to use $18. $18 will go to the Port Authority, and then they will take the head amount out of it, which is around $8. And they will pay that to the licensee, the Verdant Isle, and that will go to arrest the debt. Now, the question is, what happens if there is a downturn in arrivals, which we certainly don't expect, but a hurricane or a disaster, a natural disaster could cause that? Then the payment would still be contingent on the number of people that arrive on the island. So if there's less arrivals, will mean there'll be less paid toward the capital amount that was invested. If there is more, that would mean that there would be more money at the end of the project, and there's a mechanism in the contract itself that there would be a profit share between the Port Authority and the Verdant Isle licensee. So on one side of it is if there is not enough because of a natural disaster or another event, you have the option to prolong until the repayment is done at no risk to the government or the people. On the other side, you have the advantage of if there is a significant upturn, that you are involved in the profits from that. So if CO, if you could just go through the actual items that stick out, the Environmental Protection Fund, the Port Authority itself, and then the model between that we finalize in the contract between a $5 or $6 model of what will actually be paid to government.
Sure. Thank you, Deputy Premier. So, as Deputy Premier has said, the model, if you could think of it this way, and Premier said it as well, there's not a pot of money that is going to build it. What is going to build it is the future passenger tax on the passengers that are brought to our shores. So right now, the current amounts that are collected, and we did this in U.S. dollars because we had international bidders, obviously. Mm-hmm. The Cayman Islands government collects what's called a departure tax. And in U.S. dollars, that's about $7.32. The Port Authority collects $3 U.S., and the Environmental Protection Fund, depending on whether it's a year-round or seasonal vessel, year-round vessels are $1.95 U.S., and seasonal vessels are $3.90 U.S. Mm-hmm. The tender fees, we understand, per passenger is $5.25. I may be wrong on that, but that's what I've been told. For a total for year-round vessels currently of $17.52 U.S. So the amount going forward that has been agreed is that there will be a reduction in the departure tax only to the Cayman Islands government per passenger. The that amount, as Deputy Premier said, will now shift to between $5 and $6.10. The option chosen by the government, option 2, is $6.10.
As opposed to $7 and something.
$7.32, yes, sir. The Port Authority, $3 will remain unchanged. The Environmental Protection Funds fee of $1.95 and $3.90 for year-round and seasonal, respectively, will be unchanged. And then Verdant Isle Port Partners for year-round will be between the $6.95, $8.05, and then seasonal as well, the $1.10 difference between those two, for a total, when you calculate the year-round, of $18. So that is why a lot of it, the basis of the structure, works, because when put aside the bidders, the cruise lines, when they look to commit to coming here from a berthing perspective, they look at what they have to pay now and what they'll have to pay under this deal with berthing, and it's a difference of approximately $17.50 US and $18. So again, that is the attractiveness from a cruise line perspective. That when we went to them and they said they wanted a facility like this for the experience of their passengers, we wanted it for the experience of our passengers, and this was the basis of it. From then we went forward with the actual bid itself, and had the functional requirements, but not only the functional requirements, the requirements under, as Premier said, the FFR, that we couldn't borrow, and we weren't going to put any capital investment into the project.
Okay, we have one caller.
Before you take the call, I just want to make this very important point. In that breakdown that was just given, there is about $5 million a year that's vested in the environmental fund. $5 million a year that's just put aside for the environment out of those numbers.
Okay, and while we take the call, there are two points that I'd like you to think about and to get some response as well. One relates to the UK's concerns about contingent liability, whether or not any feedback has been received from them in terms of the arrangement, the financing arrangement, based on what you've said, not going to cost, no money's coming from government's revenue as it stands for it, government not putting any money into it. What, if any, are the views from the UK authorities in relation to that? And the other thing is there was recently an article and a call by a member of the Caribbean Tourism Association talking about the fees per passenger that is paid, and he pointed out the inconsistency within the region and felt that it was time for us to form a sort of a cartel to ensure that those fees are sort of like uniform throughout the Caribbean rather than playing one against the other, and whether or not the proposed arrangement as far as the fees is concerned, whether that is subject to change later on in the event that such decisions were made as well. We have 3 callers. We're going to try to take as many calls as we can, but we're going to also ask the callers to try to be as brief as possible in terms of their presentation. First caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. This is Tommy Barton. Good morning to the panel, and I must say I am not 100% familiar with everything that's planned for the cruise landing, and I just wondered if there is a referendum that the majority says they do not want it, would it mean that would be the end of it, or I've signed a petition from some time ago, and to be honest, I'm not sure what was actually presented as the petition. I signed the petition because at the time it sounded like we needed to have more clarification on what was being proposed. It didn't seem, after the meeting in the Family Life Centre, it seemed like it was a lot of unanswered questions that I thought should be clarified before it was undertaken. That was why I signed it. If the petition was against the port being done, that was not my expectation. I was only asking for further explanation. So I am satisfied with what I've heard recently, that I think that those questions have been answered. So I just want to make it clear that I'm not against the port, although I know it's not going to accommodate all the ships that have been coming here, so some will still be left outside to use tenders or whatever. What I'd like to ask, did I understand that you would be taking down the Royal Wattler building?
The Royal Wattler building that's there is incorporated in the new design, that it comes down, but the square footage of retail space that is there, that is owned by the Port Authority, the square footage will stay the same, so there will be no new upland development.
And okay, thank you. And what kind of accommodation will be made for the passengers to assemble? Will it be enough area for the passengers to assemble outside of the elements in case of indigent weather or whatever?
Yes, sir. The design calls for best in class, and I was a little rude. Good morning, Mr. Tommy. Really nice to hear your voice on the radio. It calls for a best-in-class design. Obviously, there's been a lot of input from the largest cruise vessels in the world who are very concerned about what their passengers will be affected by. So if you look at other cruise berthing facilities that make it as easy as possible for, and we'll call it the passenger arriving, to get off the vessel, come through immigration, customs, and pick up their tours, walk into town, pick up a taxi. But the point is the experience came on.
Because I do think it's a disgrace how passengers have had to line up along the sidewalk and stand there, rain or shine or whatever, waiting at their turn to get a boat or do tours or whatever. And that, to me, was pretty disgraceful for our country. And I hope that will be alleviated when this is completed.
Yes, sir. That is certainly our goal as well, and Premier has made it very clear that our purpose of this is to facilitate the economic development for Cayman for generations to come.
The only other thing I'd like to say is I wonder how much we would say would be enough passengers arriving at one time or one day that we can cope with, or that will give the same pleasant experience that they would be expecting, rather than be herded like animals going into a trailer or something. When there's so many people that it's hard to stand in room for people to see anything or do anything. So I wonder how the passengers
the numbers we will cover that as well. We will have Mr. Strandborden or the Deputy Premier or either one of our panels talk about the numbers that are anticipated in terms of the number of passengers. Thank you very much, Mr. Tommy, for that. We're going to try to squeeze one other caller in before we go to our commercial break.
Sure, if you don't mind, if I can just respond to the first part of
yes, about the referendum. Okay,
about the referendum and the verification process. A number of people have called myself, messaged myself, and the Deputy Premier and others about the verification process. And these people have the same issue essentially as Brother Tommy. I signed the petition because I wanted more information. Having had that information now, I'm not against the port. What do I do? Even if they have gone through the verification process, until that petition is actually presented to the cabinet, it is open to anyone to change their mind. And so you can call the elections office or go to the elections office and say, on reflection, I don't want to support this petition. Please take my name off of it. So that's an option that is open to everyone who wishes to do so. I just wanted to make that point clear.
Sure. Okay. Thank you very much. Ms. Susan, you want to take the break now? We're going to take a break. We're going to try to squeeze the other caller in. But when we return, those callers who are on hold, we will certainly entertain your calls as well. So please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
At Seaboard Marine, customers often ask us questions about their shipments.
Hi, I'm thinking of buying a car from the States. Which port do you ship out of?
Hi, we ship out of Miami, Houston, and Brooklyn. Just let us know your port of choice and we can provide you with a quotation and answer any questions you may have on ensuring and protecting your vehicle during its journey.
Shipping shore to shore, Seaboard.
Have you seen the latest? Cayman has been ranked the most expensive place to live. It's time to buy smart. It's time to buy Ropers. Find everything for your home and kitchen at low prices at Ropers. Ropers Janitorial, 949-2511. Email janitorial@ropers.ky. Clean up your spending with Ropers Janitorial, 949-2511. Ropers Janitorial also offers complete janitorial service for commercial, industrial, and residential. They get the job done right every time. Ropers Janitorial, 949-2511.
It was a day that changed my life. No words can describe the feelings of seeing my baby boy sick for the first time. The overwhelming feeling of fear to be responsible for his health and happiness became my priority. So I did what any nurturing mother would do when their baby is sick. I took him to get some of the best medicine possible.
CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy understands the importance of careful decisions you make every day for your family. Our staff work towards healthcare excellence and providing the most current and up-to-date training with pharmaceutical care, so you can feel confident in knowing that your family is safe with the right medication. At CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy, we take care of your health. Do you have a business in the tourism industry? The Cayman Islands Department of Tourism wants you to get listed on their website. Visit CaymanIslands.com. It's absolutely free and will give your business added exposure on the #1 visited tourism site for the Cayman Islands. Learn more and get listed at www.visitcaymanislands.com/sign up. That's www.visitcaymanislands.com/sign up. Don't wait. Sign up today.
Under the distinguished patronage of the Honorary Jamaican Consul, JN Money, in association with Michelle T. and Friends, present Jamaica 57th Independence Gospel Fest, Sunday, August 4th at the Lion Center. Celebrate with Sandra Brooks, Prodigal Son, Chosen, Kevin He, Preaching Policeman, Laverne Welcome, Women of Purpose, and Michelle T. Also, Roderick Brown, Light of the World Dance Ministry, and many others. Delicious Helsha-style fish and more. Breakfast from 8 a.m., followed by lunch and dinner. $25 pre-sold, $30 at the gate. Tickets at Funky Tangs, Mango Tree, Fix It Celtronics, Mac Russ, J&M Electronics, Famous Restaurant, Angel Supplies, and JN Money. Sponsors Realwood Cabinets, Superior Auto and Sensual, Fix It Celtronics, M Creations, Caymanian Times, Hot 104, The Voice, Praise FM, Breeze FM, and Radio Cayman. Jamaica 57th Gospel Fest with Michelle T. and Friends. MC Basilia Barnaby Cuff at the Lion Center, Sunday, August 4th at 6 in the evening.
System 1 loaded. 1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me this morning, we have the Honourable Alden McLaughlin, Premier of the Cayman Islands, Honourable Moses Colonel, Deputy Premier of the Cayman Islands, and Mr. Strand Bawden, the Chief Officer in the Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport. We're discussing the cruise berthing facility proposed here in the Cayman Islands. We have 3 callers on hold. We're again going to ask the callers to be as brief as possible. Once you've made your statement or posed your question, you can then listen to the answer and off air or off the phone, and we can accommodate much more callers using that process, because we do expect the phone lines to be lit up all morning. Next caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, OC. Good morning, Premier and Deputy Premier.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Good morning. And Strand.
Morning.
Paula here, taxi operator, Cayman Tourism Ambassador. I work on a daily basis with the port with the cruise ships. Up until yesterday, I had a guest from Georgia in a wheelchair. He managed to get into my bus with my assistance. But the question was, when I was coming off the cruise ship, it was not handicap friendly. I felt very unsafe. Now, we want Cayman, as a growing country, we need to update and modernize our infrastructure to balance our growth. And just like how we can, on land, have designated parking for disabled, and also the mats down at the public beach, which government is trying to improve that as well. We want, when our guests to come here, all guests, no matter what their health issues may be, we have a Cayman kind tourism product that, one other thing, I noticed the cargo ships comes in 2 days a week. And when they come, if cruise ships in the port, they cannot use, the cargo dock. Whereas around the world, most docks are operational 24 hours. So therefore, losing revenue there. When you have bad weather, even if the cruise ships can come in, I have witnessed a couple months ago when the cruise ship could not tender because the tenders were bouncing up and down. But at that very time, I seen a cargo ship alongside of, right between the North and the Royal where the cargo ships go. And it was not phasing them. So I really believe that this would make a major improvement. All people would not come off at one time because on a given daily, the tender can only tender off so much, whereas those that don't come off early in the rush, like cattle going to market, as Mr. Borden said, the rest can come off because they can walk right off. With the present situation we have is that by the time they come off on a tender, the ship is ready to leave. So half of the people, half of the business, the revenue that we're supposed to make, whether it be me or a government attraction or, on a whole, the businesses down there, we are stifled. So we need those peers, and I support the port. Anyway, gentlemen, have a good day.
Thank you very much, caller. Thank you very much for that. Let's grab another caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I called in today to give some considerations, in my opinion, for the cruise berthing facility in Georgetown Harbor. And I feel as though, as do many other people my age, I'm 18 years old, I feel as though many others my age are not seeing, in truth, the plan for our generation and for future generations in regards to this cruise berthing facility. I wanted to ask specifically in regards to this, what are the type of jobs that have been specifically looked at in terms of Caymanian youths in this construction and in this administration? And specifically, since there would be some more higher-end jobs that would be that may be given out, created in terms of mechanics and such types of administration frameworks, would there be any types of scholarships or programs offered at UCCI to accommodate this? Additionally, I wanted to also ask, in terms of the actual environmental impact of the cruise berthing facility, and in terms of financing as well, the Deputy Premier has made reference to the fact that the cost would be offset by the tax on the cruise passengers coming in, but what is the initial startup capital provided by government for the actual construction? And my third and final, well, my last one is actually a statement. But I was listening earlier, and the Premier falsely misattributed the cruise port referendum itself, the People's Initiative referendum, by characterizing it as a referendum against the cruise port, which in reality it is not. It is a referendum on a people's say on whether government should continue with it, and to characterize it as either being pro or against the port, the actual petition itself is false, and it is Frankly, it is a mischaracterization that we have heard from other government members on the radio shows over the past week.
Okay, thank you very much, caller.
If I can just quickly deal with the last point. I'm afraid I am simply repeating what the CPR lead group consistently say. The messages they consistently give are that the cruise port is a bad idea and we shouldn't have it. Now, I fully accept that that young man and many other people, including Mr. Tommy, who just spoke, who called in, don't necessarily feel that way and signed the petition because they were concerned that there wasn't enough information on which they could make a proper judgment as to whether or not this was a project that should go ahead. I fully accept that. But my characterization of it being a referendum against the port is probably not right. But certainly those who have been at the head of this particular initiative, they are fundamentally opposed to the development of a cruise port for one reason or another. There's no doubt about that. They've been on this show. They've been on every other show. They've written. They've called me corrupt, the Deputy Premier corrupt because we support this. So they haven't minced their words at all. And so, as I say, I fully accept that my characterization of what the actual petition calls for is probably not right in that sense. But there's no question that those who pushed the initiative are fundamentally opposed to it. And so they are hoping, and they're still hoping, that if the referendum occurs, it will have the effect of stopping the project from going ahead.
Okay. As far as the other questions are concerned, we'll take the other caller because more than likely someone else will pose the same question, so we'll just answer it in one go. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Hello, good morning.
Morning, how are you?
Good morning, Mr. Allen again. Ron Buffy again.
Morning.
Yeah, morning, sir. Good morning, Mr. Most Deputy Premier.
Morning, sir. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Good morning, Ron.
Morning, sir.
Yes, Ron. Actually, 5 months ago, right, I was in the Swift Lane uniform, the green light, right? And this morning, right, in the last 2 hours, how you guys illustrate this and stuff, right? It's very comprehensive. And if I have to write it down, it's clearly legible. You know what I'm saying, right? And the design, right, it looked fascinating to me, in my opinion. The ideas, right? And Mr. Alden.
Yes, sir.
You're aware that we contemplate every time is right and everything geo-strategic, is what I'm saying, right? So, we have draw a line, you know what I'm saying, right? Like say, for instance, I change the lanes now. You see Boris Johnson now, right? How we keep intact with him, right? Global lesson going on, right? And I know the port thing now, right? Honestly, right? You have to sacrifice something. Investments into infrastructure, right? That leads to entrepreneurship or a philanthropist. You know what I'm saying, right? Gradually come for a walk enough, right? So, Ms. Allen, I appreciate it that you came on yesterday today and everything vividly, clearly, right? Transparently. Have a good day. Have a good gentleman.
Thank you very much, caller. Thank you very much, caller. We still have about 2 minutes before we go to our next commercial break, so we can talk a little bit about the two questions that was posed. One, I think, was in relation to jobs for Caymanians and preparing them.
Right. The last question he asked about was there any startup or capital investment from government? Premier had addressed that earlier, that there's no startup. So the answer to that is zero from the government standpoint.
So Deputy Premier, just so that the young man understands clearly, what is being proposed in that regard is that the bidder, Verdant Isle Port Partners, will provide all of the financing. They will put in 40% of the equity themselves in cash, and they will borrow the other 60% through the lead arranger on the financing will be First Caribbean, and obviously, or presumably, there will be other sources but the lead arranger for arranging the financing will be First Caribbean. So there is no capital investment by the government other than the almost $10 million or so that we've spent so far over the course of the last 7 years to get the project to this point.
Correct. Absolutely correct. The job, I'd like to explain the jobs. In 4,500 people are involved in cruise berthing jobs now, right? Our cruise tourism product. If you think about the numbers that were looked at for growth and 2.3 million, which is 20 to 25% increase in what we have now, is what numbers are proposed to start at once the cruise berthing is complete. That means that you will have 20 to 25% more opportunities for entrepreneurial jobs, for tour jobs, which are entrepreneurial, for taxis, entrepreneurial, storefronts, entrepreneurial, small business, crafts, all of that, when you look at it from the standpoint of investing into the future of the Cayman Islands, and you see a growing business opportunity in front of you, then it triggers all of the things that has to happen. Borrowing money, more classroom work and more expertise needed, more imports, more exports from the sales. So that opportunity is going to be there. And the part about the scholarships, I think the example that we use now is we wanted to make sure that we took advantage of our tourism product by empowering skill sets that were needed. The hospitality school is a success. It will continue to be a success, and we have been successful in putting young Caymanians into the workforce and moving them and making them more aware. So that was a very good question, and obviously the intention of this government is to make sure that more opportunities like that are available to the youth of this island by example. Yesterday we went through scholarship programs and some of the young people that are going abroad to move into that next category of the skill and the education they need to take the managerial jobs. Totally impressive.
Okay, time for us to take a commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned. The conversation on the cruise berthing facility will continue right after this short commercial break.
It was a day that changed my life. No words can describe the feelings of seeing my baby boy sick for the first time. The overwhelming feeling of fear to be responsible for his health and happiness became my priority. So I did what any nurturing mother would do when their baby is sick. I took him to get some of the best medicine possible.
CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy understands the importance of careful decisions you make every day for your family. Our staff work towards healthcare excellence and providing the most current and up-to-date training with pharmaceutical care, so you can feel confident in knowing that your family is safe with the right medication. At CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy, we take care of your health.
Sometimes things just don't go as planned. That's why you need Contractors All-Risk Insurance from Fidelity Insurance Brokers. Ensure you're covered in the event of property damage and third-party injury or damage claims during your construction projects. And with Fidelity Insurance Brokers, you can be sure you are getting competitive pricing and superior customer service. Call us today for a free quote. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Have you ever felt that there is something bigger out there for you? Something more positive, something more powerful, something all good, something bigger than yourself? Do you want to give back to this community, your community? Together, Rotary Central, Rotary Sunrise, and the Rotary Club of Grand Cayman are hosting a membership meet and greet social Thursday, August 15th at Pepper's Restaurant, 5 to 7 p.m. Come along. Bring a friend. Find out what Rotary is all about, what Rotary is doing in your community. So, see you there, Thursday, August 15th at Pepper's Restaurant, 5 to 7 p.m. We're looking forward to meeting you. Rotary, connecting the world.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, we have the Honorable Alden McLaughlin, Premier of the Cayman Islands, Deputy Premier of the Cayman Islands, Honorable Moses Colonel, and Chief Officer in the Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport, Mr. Strand Bodden. We're discussing the cruise berthing facility, and along with that discussion, we're also talking, and we have questions about the referendum itself. We have a WhatsApp voice note, and I also have an email. So we want to create a little balance in terms of presenting people's views. But before we go to either of those, we're going to pass the mic back over to the Premier.
Thank you, O.C. Thank you, O.C. I just want to make one very quick point. It's not often that you hear me shouting out the media, but I think the article that has been written by Mr. James Whitaker of The Compass, which is in today's paper, which breaks down what this arrangement is, what the deal is about the cruise port, is excellent. It is factual and sets things out in a very, very clear way. And I would urge anyone who's interested in this to access it online or pick up a hard copy of The Compass, because it really is worth the read. It is an excellent job of setting out precisely what it is that the government has agreed to and proposes.
Okay, thank you very much for that. I'm going to read an email that received from one of our listeners, and the writer says, I just wanted to write in quickly to congratulate the government on their commitment to seeing this project through. There is a lot of money and a lot of motives aimed at trying to stop this project, and from the start they have hidden behind the mask of an environmental cause to further their business and political interests. No one that is out there supporting the docks has ever done so trying to push a fake agenda or hiding secret motives. I think that it's great that the minister and his team can show not only their hand, but the full deck of cards. There has been too much misinformation and politics being played by those against the berthing facility. Those against claimed China Harbor has paid the government off and will build the port. That was a lie. The port will cost 300 to 500 million. That was a lie. The government will have to put the country into debt. That was a lie. They said 7 Mile Beach will disappear. That is a lie. They said all the coral in Georgetown will die. That is a lie. The people are anxiously waiting now to hear all of the other truths about the project to dispel the fear-mongering of the referendum and save Cayman main voices. I think we have a caller as well.
I think we know where that person sits.
Okay, certainly, no question about that. We have a caller. We'll do the voice note first and then take the caller after. So we're going to play a voice note now that came in.
Good morning, Mr. Connor. Hope you're all doing well today. The Honorable Premier, the Honorable Deputy, Mr. Moses, and the other Chief Officer there. Good morning to you. Just a quick question. What happens if they have a referendum and the referendum says that the majority of the people on the island doesn't want the port there, and if the contract has already been signed with the contractors, wouldn't the Cayman government have to pay the contractors for signing the contract and didn't get to do it because the referendum said that they didn't want it? What would happen then? Would there have to be any money paid out to the contractors? Thank you very much, and God bless you all, and God bless the Cayman Islands.
Okay, want to thank that caller for that.
Right. So we that situation won't arise because the government has taken the position that we will not execute a contract until at least the 1st of October to give the verification of signatures process the opportunity to be completed.
Excellent. Thanks for that. And we will talk about the verification process and further along in the show as well. We're going back to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Yeah, good morning to Honorable Premier and his Deputy and Mrs. Strand.
Morning, sir.
Morning, sir.
Yes, I have a few questions and a couple of statements to make concerning the project, the port. The questions are, am I correct in saying that these piers or the dock is to accommodate the mega ships?
The piers will be large enough to accommodate the Oasis class and mega ships, but obviously they can accommodate the smaller ones as well.
All right, I would imagine so. All right, the infrastructure will the infrastructure to accommodate say 20,000 people on land. Will that be in place before the dock is built, or are you going to build the dock and then you can put the infrastructure in place to accommodate these people?
The Grand Cayman has accommodated 25 to 30,000 people before from arrivals of cruise vessels. So the opportunity to accommodate a more flattened arrival process, and the example would be we would prefer to have 20,000 or less each day, which would flatten out the business opportunity for not only the entrepreneurs, but the businesses that depend on this type of tourism and give them more opportunity.
I understand that, but the time is limited. The security with having those amount of people in Georgetown being driven or taken to Sigma City and where have you, the security concerns me very much because remember in the past we have had people that come off the cruise ship and committed robberies and try to get back on there, you know. So this thing, I don't think really the port really supposed to be built first before you have the proper infrastructure to accommodate such a large crowd. And don't forget that during, especially around December, that's the peak of the tourist season, the people that fly in. And I really don't think the port is really necessary at this stage in my life. You understand? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, caller, for that. Ms. Susan?
If I can just
Premier.
answer that point. I'm not sure that the caller fully understood what the Deputy Premier said about the numbers. We are currently, and have for some time, been accommodating 25 to 30,000 passengers in a day. So the point is that the port facility is going to give the ability to be able to better regulate that number so that we can have more days on which the port is open and available, and we can hopefully keep the numbers down around 20,000, which is a much more comfortable number. It's easier to manage those people because they don't have to come ashore and go back aboard via a tender. So even without doing anything to the current infrastructure, the port facility, the piers facility, is going to improve the management and experience of the cruise passengers.
Very, very good explanation for that. Thank you very much. I want to remind you, we have 3 callers, but we're going to our headline news at 9 o'clock, which is extremely short. As soon as we come back from headline news, we will take those callers that are on hold. Hang in there. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Satisfaction is guaranteed 24 hours a day, whether it's music or information.
From Grand Cayman to Cayman Brac to Little Cayman, we've got you covered.
You ever hear a thing like that?
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman. Radio Cayman's newsroom. These are the biggest stories right now.
Director of Planning at the Ministry of Commerce, Haroon Pandui, informed members of the development community that the department has approved 380 planning permissions during the first 2 quarters of this year, with projects valued at more than $523 million. 659 planning permits valued at $205 million were issued for the same period. 10 Democratic presidential hopefuls have clashed in a televised U.S. debate that laid bare the party's deep divisions over how best to win 2020. Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders, the most liberal candidates in the crowded field, came under attack from their more moderate colleagues. The 3 women and 7 men on stage in Michigan debated health care, border policy, and how to defeat President Donald Trump. And at least 10 people were injured when fireworks were shot from a moving car into a crowd of pro-democracy activists in Hong Kong. Video on social media showed people running for cover as fiery trails were shot towards them outside a police station. The activists had been supporting a small number of protesters who had been detained inside the station. Tensions are high in Hong Kong after weeks of anti-government protests. Those are your headlines. I'm Karsley Fuller.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're discussing the cruise berthing facility with the Premier, Deputy Premier, and Mr. Strand Barton. One of our listeners has written in and said, good morning, kindly ask your guests. 1, when will the new design be made public? That's already been done. So far, they have only released an artist's rendering. 2, how much less dredging will be required in the current design? They have only stated that there will be less dredging. The public deserves the facts. Want to answer that now, or should we go to the callers?
No, I think we should answer it now.
Okay, go right ahead.
The design itself was moved. I think you'll remember almost 2 years ago now, the government made a statement. And because there was concern about the environment itself, we said that we wanted to maximize the economic benefit to the Cayman Islands with the least amount of environmental impact. So the Premier announced that we would suspend and move to looking at if there was any other model that we could use to have a smaller dredge pocket and lesser amount of coral relocation. We did that by hiring 2 best-in-class, Beard being one, and brought in the engineering study to see if the piers could be moved to deeper water to have less of an environmental impact, a smaller dredge pocket. That was successful in 2 ways. Number one, the report was successful, and they said that we could move it into deeper water, have a smaller dredge pocket. The obvious point of that is when you build something in deeper water, it's a little more costly. So we didn't know what the extra cost was going to be. But at this point, the percentages will be released. They'll be online. They looked to be, because we have 2 different models that we're looking at. We have the preferred model, an option that we're looking at. But that will be released, and it looked to be, and I'll say this, with the fear of being corrected once the final numbers are out, but it looked to be in a 20% range of savings.
Okay, thank you very much for that.
This is environmental savings
yes.
we're speaking about now. 20% less impact on the coral and seabed.
Okay, excellent. Let's go back to the phone lines. We have 3 callers. First caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. O'Connor.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning to Honorable Premier, Mr. Al McLaughlin.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning to Honorable Deputy Premier, Mr. Moses O'Connor.
Morning, sir.
Yes. you all will regret building the sport. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, caller, for that. For the benefit of our callers, of course, time is of the essence, and none of my guests here in the studio will be offended if you just simply say good morning to all of your guests on the show. Right. In the interest of time. Next caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, all.
Good morning.
With all the information being shared by CNS and the referendum group, it must feel like a huge weight off your shoulders now, having the ability to share the true numbers and facts that really debunk a lot of their arguments. You guys have really taken a lot of abuse through this process, and a lot of rumors have been thrown out there, and personal attacks on your integrity as well. But now these people are going to have a much harder time twisting the facts to suit their agenda. So I just wanted to say thank you for all the hard work to get a deal this favorable on the table that's going to foster job creation and retention for future generations in Cayman. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, caller, for that.
We really appreciate it. We don't hear that anywhere near enough. Thanks so much.
Two more callers. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning to your entire panel. And I just want to thank the government for having a press conference and sharing most of the information that is vital to the project. I think that's important. I know we have a short period of time, Mr. Connor, so there's a bunch of stuff I would like to ask the minister and the premier. Obviously, we don't have that time, so I'll just try to share a few points, and those are. And I want to make a clarity, and I'm glad I called after the last caller because I don't really too keenly respect the idea of calling us these people because we're Caymanians just seem, and certainly there was no misleading stuff coming out of the cruise port referendum campaign, and we had legitimate concerns like we do, and no one at cruise port ever said we didn't need cruise passengers. That's never been said ever, anywhere publicly or privately, and I don't think anyone can prove that. But having said that, Mr. Cocorno, I just want to ask two critical questions, and that is that what part of our tourism product generates the most revenue?
Our tourism product is mixed. We have 30% of our revenue comes from cruise, and the other comes from a combination, but mostly from stayover.
Okay, well, let me just make a small correction. 20% come from cruise, 80% come from stayover. I'm not saying that to have any contradiction with you, sir, or to have an argument. I'm just trying to make a point because I think it's important for everybody, including yourself.
So what is the basis? You're contradicting the Minister of Tourism, so what is the basis for your assertion that he's wrong?
Mr. Premier, in all due respect, I base that off of numbers produced by the Tourism Department and the ESO website, not my. I don't want to get into that because this is nothing to do with any personal issues with.
No, it's not personal. You've contradicted him, so I'm going to check it. That's all. Fine, go ahead.
Mr. Premier, these are numbers that was produced at the Chamber Conference by the minister that's sitting next to you.
Caller, rather than us getting into that debate, you pose one question, can you pose the other, and then we'll have them respond.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's all I want to do. I didn't want to get into debate. Secondly, are you aware that in most jurisdictions where the tourism industry has died was because of mass cruise? And one of the reasons is I think we need cruise, and it's very essential to our tourism product. I 100% agree with any government, including yourselves, for wanting to safeguard that and ensure that we are a shining example within the Caribbean. I don't have any issues with that. The thing that I'm mostly concerned about, this is my personal concern, not CPR or anybody at CPR. Here's my biggest concern, having reading a lot of information in our region, is that most of the jurisdictions that have went towards mass cruise that they couldn't manage infrastructurally, they have subsequently jeopardized, if not killed, their entire tourism product because of the overcrowding in areas that everybody coexist in, both stayover and cruise. So my only concern at this particular point, because I can't express the rest, is that we have to be extremely careful on striking the balance on what is enough and what is not enough if we're going to jeopardize the overall product, because one of the things that I've read in all of the reports and everything is that one of the critical things which I have a great concern is that we have to stay competitive. The cruise line destinations are like our bills. So you see, don't paint the building every year.
Caller, you don't have enough time to go into analogies. Sorry.
I'm just simply trying to lay it out so I can, so the ministers can understand what.
We have to respect the other callers that we have. I've given you some leeway.
No, but I'm happy to answer what I think I understand the question he's asking.
Sure.
So, the question is basically, do we have the population and landmass to benefit from growing our cruise tourism business? And I would answer that as the Minister of Tourism and saying, absolutely. Do we want cruise tourism and stayover visitors? We want both. We understand clearly it has to be a balance. We have to manage it. And we have taken the opportunity, if you look at what government has done, we have NRA, we have revitalization of Georgetown, we have expansion of infrastructure, and we have moved our cruise tourism business from being a Georgetown business to providing opportunity for the country itself. And I say that meaning that looking at how Cayman Brac absolutely can enjoy some as well. The advantage for the country is that if we take the cruisers and we make sure that they can get to East End, they can get to Northside, they can get to West Bay, they can get to Boddentown and give opportunity there that they don't have now, is done by improving the infrastructure, which we sit in the same room. We talk about the revitalization. We talk about the need of NRA. We talk about the infrastructure that's being built to go east. We talk about what has happened to push people into the West Bay area. And I went to every district in this country and talked about tourism. Every person wants more business from tourism. So what we are doing, and I believe what the obligation of government is to do, is to give opportunity to every district of this country, not just one. So I think, if I understand his point, he wants to make sure there's a balance and to make sure that we're looking at how the country is going to benefit. And I can assure him that if he looks and reads at the different things that are taking place now, looks at what we have budgeted to improve the transportation issue into the Eastern District, our goal is to make sure everybody gets an opportunity from this.
And wouldn't it be irresponsible of you as a minister responsible for tourism to pit one sector of the tourism industry against the other? That is cruise tourism against stayover tourism?
Absolutely. I mean, the balance is that we know that more Caymanians work in cruise tourism than work in stayover. And we have taken steps. We talked about the hospitality school. We talked about education. We talked about management scholarships. We're taking steps to try to balance that. But at this point in time, we want to make sure that we understand how the country gets the benefit out of both.
Okay.
And the thing that seems to be missing in all of these presentations, and let me just say, we all know who the caller was. CPR has been incredibly misleading in many of the things they've said. That caller in particular, I've listened to him over and over and over again, repeat things like a mantra until people start to believe it. Now they have to face the facts and challenge the facts, because we are finally in a position to put out the facts. And one of the facts is this. The benefit of having the cruise piers, one of the critical benefits, is it facilitates the easy disembarkation and embarkation of the cruise passengers. So that process will take place far more comfortably, much more quickly. So that, as the Deputy Premier has said, the passengers, the visitors are able to be dispatched more efficiently to all of the various tours that are available on the island, so that more of the island can benefit and more of the passengers can take advantage of what Cayman has to offer, because they don't have to go through the inconvenience. And in the case of people who, as one of the earlier callers who's a taxi driver mentioned, feel unsafe because they have a particular disability. Mm-hmm. So this is not so much about growing the number of cruise passengers exponentially, but growing it to a number that we can manage and providing a facility or facilities that allow us to better regulate, manage the numbers so that people have a comfortable, pleasant experience having come to Cayman on a cruise. Because many people leave here not feeling that way because of the process of having to queue, go ashore in tenders, queue to get back on.
Okay, time for us to take a commercial break, and we still have about three callers on hold as well. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Congratulations, it's a boy.
During the greatest events of your life, whether or not you have the right health insurance coverage should be the last thing on your mind. That's why at Fidelity Health, we are committed to helping you get matched with the right plan to suit you and your family. We offer a range of plans to suit your budget, plus access to a network of quality care throughout the Caribbean and the USA. You can relax and enjoy life's greatest moments when you are covered with Fidelity Health. Call us today at 949-7822 for a free quote.
Have you seen the latest? Cayman has been ranked the most expensive place to live. It's time to buy smart. It's time to buy Ropers. Find everything for your home and kitchen at low prices at Ropers. Ropers Janitorial, 949-2511. Email janitorial@ropers.ky. Clean up your spending with Ropers Janitorial, 949-2511. Ropers Janitorial also offers complete janitorial service for commercial, industrial, and residential. They get the job done right every time. Ropers Janitorial, 949-2511.
At Logic, we make things better for our customers. It's why we're offering free Boost Wi-Fi. With Boost, you get improved Wi-Fi connectivity everywhere in your home, so there's no more dead zones. The only people we're not making this better for is parents. Because now with seamless Wi-Fi in every room in your home, go to your room isn't really the punishment it used to be. Sorry about that. Sign up now for any Logic Bundle package and get free Boost Wi-Fi for a limited time. Visit logic.ky for details.
Looking for a new car? We can give you a zillion reasons to switch to electric. They cost you less to run. They helps to save the planet. They are free charging stations all across Grand Cayman. Low maintenance needs. They're quiet both inside and out. And they're the future. But most of all, the government has reduced custom duties on electric cars. For cars valued below $30,000, you now don't have to pay anything. Visit the Ministry of Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure Facebook page for more information on electric cars.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matter. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're discussing the cruise berthing facility with the Premier Honourable Alden McLaughlin, Deputy Premier Honourable Moses Colonel, and Mr. Strand Borden. We have four callers. Again, we're asking callers to please be as brief as possible because we want to accommodate as many people as possible. We do understand that this is one opportunity that you get to be able to converse and to share your views and concerns about a particular topic, and we understand that, but we also want you to appreciate that there are others who want to express their views as well. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning. Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning to the Deputy Premier, the Premier, Mr. Bawden, Mr. O.C. This is Katrina Jern, one of the main organizers of CPR Cayman.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
I would just like to address a few comments and concerns. Firstly, over 5,600 Caymanians have signed the petition for a people-initiated referendum on the proposed cruise berthing facility. We all have genuine concerns. We deserve to receive the information that has been requested, and we all deserve to have a say in this very important decision for our country. Thank you very much for the press conference and for the additional information that you were able to share with us over the last week. However, there are still a lot of big questions, a lot of information. For me personally, as somebody who is genuinely concerned about the environment, I have a PhD in environmental sociology. For people who are not aware, I also run Sustainable Cayman. And I'm an 11th generation Caymanian, so I would say my concerns are pretty genuine, and I have no hidden agendas. So in the information that has been provided, we have not seen the new design. We have been told simply there will be less dredging. I think this is for people, I'm sure that you all are aware that environmental impacts are a huge concern for the public. And to sit through the press conference, yes, indeed, we got some useful information on who the bidder is and the financial side. However, I'm still deeply concerned about what the environmental impacts will be of the project. You've just said there will be a 20% reduction. I assume that's a 20% reduction from the 2015 design in terms of the environmental impact and dredging required. So just to note that would be approximately reducing the dredge bit from 32 acres to around maybe 27 acres. And if it's based on the information you shared in 2018, that would reduce the coral impact, direct impact, from 15 acres to 14 acres. So I just want the public, if this is indeed the same design, to be very clear that we're still talking about around 27 acres being dredged in Georgetown Harbor, and over 14 acres of coral being directly removed. But in any case, I would look forward to clarification on that from your offices. I'd also like to point out...
Very quickly, caller, we have a lot of people we want to give an opportunity to.
Certainly. Just my last point is, the EIA and other reports have shown that building the piers will give us will give our cruise passengers approximately 40 additional minutes of time ashore. So I think everybody should keep in mind that we are doing this for not hours of extra time, and in terms of thinking about the additional economic benefits. How much more economic benefit are we going to get from 44 minutes at a cost of, $200 million in direct cost and over $400 million that we will be repaying over 25 years. Thank you very much for your time and look forward to your answers.
Thank you very much, caller, for that. Let's see if we can grab one more caller, because we have had people holding for a while, and then we will have you respond to those. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to all. I'm just calling to voice my support for the cruise berthing and cargo facility. I am so proud of the final product that our government and everyone involved have been able to bring home. They have achieved a fiscally sound, environmentally conscious facility built to withstand a Cat 5 hurricane. With this, the government has secured the future for our tourism product and our people. They have achieved an amazing balance. Thank God for the misleading speculations and lies about the cruise berthing and cargo facility have been put to rest. I have one question. Now that our people have seen the facts and have been given the truth of the cruise berthing and cargo facility, can they withdraw their names from the petition?
The answer is absolutely yes. Right up until the point when the petition is presented to the cabinet, it is open to any person who wishes to say, having had the benefit of the facts, now I do not support this petition going forward. So the way to do that is to contact the elections office and tell them that either going directly or by placing a call.
Okay. I'm going to, Ms. Jones, questions and comments, I'm going to have you address them later on when I give the mic back to you. We're just trying to get some of these callers, accommodate them. Next caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to you, gentlemen.
Morning.
One of the things that I heard was just a moment ago, was that perhaps the amount of time that a tourist or the cruise tourist would be able to stay in Georgetown might be approximately 40 minutes more than what they're doing now. That may be true, but one of the things we need to understand that from the information that I've heard for a long time is that perhaps as many as 40% of the cruise tourists do not come ashore because they are, they do not like the idea of using the tenders. Now, 40%, if that is correct, of the numbers of tourists that come here who would support the businesses around town, the tours that are going across the island, which the Deputy Premier very, very clearly set out a while ago, all that's being put forward to try to make things even easier and better for the tourists to go east, as well as, of course, more to come to West Bay. But the 40% who do not get off those ships while the ships are in port, those, not two things here. Number one, they booked a tour which included Cayman. It would be a shame that it is a shame, I think, that they come here and they're not able to enjoy what is offered by Cayman Port of Call. Secondly, as I just mentioned, we lose that business. However, the other thing is, we know that the financial industry and the tourism product is the two main pillars of our economy. We need to ensure that we do everything possible that we can hold on to the tourism sector and enhance and improve upon that. Because going forward, there are so many different areas that tourism, the money from tourism feeds into Cayman. We do have the financial industry, but every one of us know, I wouldn't call it fickle, but certainly it's not something that we're not being constantly faced with criticism, and we constantly have to be working to keep the financial industry at a level at which we feel comfortable. I believe that we need to look at tourism very seriously, and I congratulate the government for their efforts in trying to promote it. It feeds many individuals in Cayman. It is important. Thank you, gentlemen, and have a good day.
Thank you very much, caller. Next caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller.
Hey, good morning.
Morning.
Morning to you and your panel, guys.
Good morning.
Morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you. I want to say again what I say. Hopefully it will be understood. And taking this into the context it was meant to be. Dealing into tourism for the last probably 20 to 30 years, I am, shall I say, over-concerned. Nothing against the dock, but shall I say, more than me, are concerned about what we see in the infrastructure of the island. Everywhere you look, there is foundations going up, concrete being planted, and more roads, more pavements. The tourists that are coming here, I would venture to take, shall I say, a wild guess, 70 to 80%. They're coming here, guys, to see what they have heard about for so many years, what we used to have, and that doesn't mean that we can't change. But it is so disheartening to see all of this North American way, Miami Beach way of tourism. And not just North Americans, but Europeans are so really disappointed in what they see happening here. Is it anyone that really taking note of what's happening to the tourism industry in the island? We heard about the revitalization of Georgetown. I heard that for the last 2 years. What's taking place, gentlemen? We need to take a deep breath, stand back, and take again and think. We need to preserve what we have in this island. The lady before me talking about how many people are fed. Thankfully, that is correct. But I want to say, without any form of friction, a lot of people into the tourism industry, they're only here for what they can get out of the tourism, no real interest in trying to preserve and trying to give the people the impression, well, I want to come back to the Cayman Islands, okay? The bottom line is the almighty dollar. We see more people coming into this thing, really don't care anything about our islands, and I am so disgusted to see that the authorities are not doing a thorough investigation into this thing, not just the taxes or the buses, but all areas of the tourism. You see people coming in here, and it's only what they can get in this tourism industry, guys.
Caller, thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. One of our listeners has written in and said, question, if your panel has time, what happens in terms of the fund payback if the tourist numbers decline? Will Cayman have to offset the balance somehow?
Very, very quickly, so we can dispense with that. Mm-hmm. If the numbers decline so that the financing facility can't be paid off in 25 years, the term will be extended until it does. There is no recourse to the government. There's no guarantee by the government.
Okay. And another one says, could your panel clarify if the rate of disembarkation is currently 89%, meaning 89% of cruise passengers disembark, and that the highest in the region is 90%? Any figures on that? We'll take a commercial break. When we return, you can respond to that as well. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Have you ever felt that there is something bigger out there for you? Something more positive, something more powerful, something all good, something bigger than yourself? Do you want to give back to this community? Your community? Together, Rotary Central, Rotary Sunrise, and the Rotary Club of Grand Cayman are hosting a membership meet and greet social Thursday, August 15th at Pepper's Restaurant, 5 to 7 p.m. Come along. Bring a friend. Find out what Rotary is all about, what Rotary is doing in your community. So, see you there, Thursday, August 15th at Pepper's Restaurant, 5 to 7 p.m. We're looking forward to meeting you. Rotary, connecting the world.
At Seaboard Marine, customers often ask us questions about their shipments.
I have various items coming from different suppliers that I need to ship to Cayman. Do you offer consolidation?
Yes. Seaboard Marine offers consolidation for full and less than container loads. We can hold your packages at our Miami warehouse until everything arrives and ship it all in one go. And we have the best rates to Grand Cayman. Visit seaboardmarine.com for more information.
Shipping shore to shore. Seaboard.
I just love the warm ocean air.
Yeah? Your car doesn't.
What you mean?
Looks like salt air is eating your bump alive.
Stop rust before it starts with Z-Bot Rust Protection from Vant Motors. The extreme heat, salt spray, and wet tropical weather can damage your vehicle and greatly decrease its value. But Z-Bot's patented formula protects your car's metal seams, joints, and other hidden areas. There's no better rust protection out there than Z-Bot. So book today and keep the rust away. Call or visit Vant Motors Body Shop on Walker's Road. Your only authorized Z-Bot service in Cayman is now available at Vant Motors.
The Miss Cayman Islands Universe Committee is inviting you to our pageant on 17th August, 7 p.m. at the Ritz-Carlton. The committee continues to empower young Caymanian ladies to become role models in the community. So come out and see our 6 beautiful contestants vie for the title of Miss Cayman Islands Universe. The winner will represent us at the Miss Universe pageant. Get your tickets today at Funky Tangs and Sand Angels.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matter. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're going to commence this segment with the playing of a voice note as well. Miss Susan, go right ahead.
Good morning to all. Morning, Mr. Connor. My name is Ransford Myers. I did sign the petition. Did not receive the full information. I don't know what I signed for or against, but I would like the election office to be informed that I want my name withdrawn from the petition. I am for the dock. If that was what I signed for, yes, even though I doubt it, but I want my name to be for the building of the dock. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. That was a voice note, so that person is
Oh,
alive.
yes. To Mr. Ransford Myers,
yeah.
right? Just let me say that you need to contact the elections office. What you signed was a petition asking for a referendum on whether or not the port project should go ahead. You didn't sign for or against when you signed the petition. But if you do not wish to support a referendum on it, you need to contact the elections office and ask them to delete your name from the list. I can't do that. No one else can do that. You have to do that yourself.
Okay. One of our listeners has written in and said, good morning, gentlemen. The significant scale of this project minimizes the ever-present yet trivial reality of the politics surrounding the issue. Does the current government see no value in having the people of the country decide yea or nay as it concerns the cruise dock? I was opposed to the former government when they brought the proposal, as I am to this one. However, my opposition is obviously not political reasons, but mainly because I believe the change that it will bring requires it to be approved by the people and not the sitting members of the Legislative Assembly. What say you, gentlemen?
We have said, I have said before on behalf of the government, and I say again, if the petition achieves the requisite number of verified signatures, there will be a referendum. We respect what the Constitution provision says.
Okay. Let's grab the phone lines now. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning.
Morning, sir.
Morning.
Morning, Mr. Premier, Mr. Deputy Premier, and Mr. Chief Officer.
Morning, sir.
Morning.
Thank you, Mr. Connor, for having these gentlemen on your show. This is Noel March. How are you all this morning?
Good. Very well, sir.
Good. March.
First of all, I would like to thank the gentlemen there for their hard work in achieving this incredible deal that they've managed to accomplish. The Premier at the press conference recently said that I think the term he used was stuck to his guns to achieve this, and I'm beginning to wonder if he actually took a gun to the negotiations to be able to get this. One of the things I want to touch on, which I don't think a lot of people realize with regards to the importance of the cruise facility, is most people feel that cruise tourism is not beneficial to stay over. I feel the exact opposite. I feel if properly managed, which a facility like this would allow us to do by spreading out tours and decreasing the pressure on our local attractions, by spreading the visitors out to provide them a better experience and encourage them to return as stay-over visitors in higher percentages. The other benefit, which I think is even of more concern and I think is greater with regards to not only stay-over tourism but to our own quality of life, is the fact that it provides a lot of opportunity, jobs, small businesses for local people, and that keeps crime down. And as everyone knows, crime is no friend of stay-over tourism. So I just wanted to, leave those thoughts out there. And again, thank you all very much for your efforts and hard work. And I do believe, as the Premier said, that if this goes to referendum, that the majority of people will see how much sense this makes.
Okay. Thank you very much, caller, for that.
Thank you.
Back to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Hello?
Good morning, caller.
Good morning. This is Charles Watler. Good morning, all.
Morning, Mr. Watler.
Morning, Mr. Charlie. How are you?
Good. I just call and congratulate you all on what you're doing. 25 years ago, I took a cruise, and my ship that we were on docked in the Dominica, which is a poor island, and our ship was the first ship to dock on their new dock 25 years ago. And in January, I took another cruise and visited 9 islands, including Grand Turk. And every one of those islands had a dock. And Grand Turk told me that in 3 more years they will have paid for their dock. They've had it for 12 years now. And we could disembark quickly. Now, 6 years ago, one of my sons had a cruise ship wedding here at Emsley Church. And we had the wedding and the reception. And when we were finished, we had to go back on board the ship. And it took us over 2 hours out in the sun waiting to catch the boat to go back to the ship. And we were drenched with sweat out in that hot sun. So I say that if we had a dock, that would not have happened, and I congratulate you. We've been talking about this now for 20 years. It's about time some action is taken.
Thank you very much, caller, for that. Ms. Susan, any more calls? 2 more. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller. Good morning, caller. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning.
Morning, sir.
Yes, Robert Hamilton here. How are you?
Fine, Mr. Hamilton. How are you, sir?
Fine, thank you. Good morning to all, and all protocol been observed already.
Yes.
Morning,
Morning, Robbie.
Morning, Robbie.
Good morning to all. I just heard Mr. Marsh talking about the value of advertising your island. There's no better way than touching it, feeling it. These cruise passengers come here and have an experience. There's no ad on TV or in a magazine that can promote the Cayman Islands more than the 2 million or 1.9 million people who visit here on a cruise. They see it, they feel it, and they get to know the people. They will return. So that helps to build your on-island visitors. I would also like to say that everyone that works, has any business on the Royal Watchdog Terminal or in the port, whether to do with the bus or retail or otherwise, support the dock because they see the daily frustration of the passengers and the bad experience they're having. We in the Royal Watchdog, when they lose our shop, and hopefully when the bidding process takes place, we'll get back in. But yet still, we all support it because it is necessary. If you look on the new ships that are being ordered for the future of the cruise tourism, if this port is not built, we might as well do away with cruise tourism. Myself and my wife, 35 years, we built our business starting from the cruise ship. And that has caused us to grow a small company now to employ 130 people. So it is a benefit to the island. We congratulate you. It's been going on for too long, going back from early, from I guess 1998, and when the Royal Watchdog Terminal was looking to be built. And everything here that was bit controversial, including Royal Watchdog, including Health City, including Ritz-Carlton, everything that's been controversial, Cayman Airways has been a success. This will be a success too, sir. Congratulations to you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, caller.
You,
we have one more caller. We're going to make this the last call when we return after the commercial break. We're going to take the call, go to the commercial break. When we return, we want to talk a little bit about the referendum process as well, the verification process, because in actuality, that's the next stage that we're going to be at now, and we want to talk about that as well.
We want to answer Katrina Jern's
question as well. Yes, that's correct, yes. So let's take the caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. Connor, and good morning to your guest.
Good morning.
Morning, sir.
Morning, sir.
Morning.
I heard Mario call, and I just wanted to clarify something. I think that the government has already made it very clear that Sayover is a priority. They've invested over $60 million into a new airport. There's funding over $20 million that goes into Cayman Airways that helps to make sure that Sayover tourists can get to our islands, and then the entire Department of Tourism budget for advertising goes into promoting Sayover tourism. I think Mr. Bodden can probably tell you what the annual budget and spend is there. So I think if anything, we know that Sayover is a lion's share of the spend in the island, and the island has invested in that as a priority and well ahead of any cruise berthing facility. So any suggestion that has not been made a priority is completely false. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, caller. I think one more caller squeezed in before I made the announcement. Okay, we're good with that. Okay, this WhatsApp message says, "Good morning, Mr. O.C. to you and your official panel. I agree with Mr. Tommy because I too signed the petition for the reasons of clarity and not against the port. I also worked in the hospitality industry in the past, so it is near and dear to my heart. I entertained a Russian family this past Monday. It's their first trip to the island, and the one thing they noticed was that they were served by people of different nationalities wherever they went and not Caymanians. They found it strange and asked why. They had been here for a week and were departing in a day or two. I hope these new facilities will see Caymanians on the front lines doing our Caymankind the way only we can do it. Thank you. Time for us to take a commercial break. The phone lines are closed now. We're going to answer Ms. Katrina Jern's questions, and we want to touch a bit on the referendum process, and I will read you a press release that came out from the elections office only yesterday in relation to the updated figures and a summary of the submissions as well. So please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
I just love the warm ocean air.
Yeah? Your car doesn't.
What you mean?
Looks like salt air is eating your bump alive.
Stop rust before it starts with Z-Bot Rust Protection from Vant Motors. The extreme heat, salt spray, and wet tropical weather can damage your vehicle and greatly decrease its value. But Z-Bot's patented formula protects your car's metal seams, joints, and other hidden areas. There's no better rust protection out there than Z-Bot. So book today and keep the rust away. Call or visit Vant Motors Body Shop on Walker's Road. Your only authorized Z-Bot service in Cayman is now available at Vant Motors.
At Seaboard Marine, customers often ask us questions about their shipments.
Hi, I'm thinking of buying a car from the States. Which port do you ship out of?
Hi, we ship out of Miami, Houston, and Brooklyn. Just let us know your port of choice and we can provide you with a quotation and answer any questions you may have on insuring and protecting your vehicle during its journey.
Shipping shore to shore, Seaboard.
Hey, are those new glasses on Will?
Yeah, we went to Optical Outlook. Wham, bam, easy exam. Finally, an exam he could pass. And we had the glasses the next day. Easiest part of our back-to-school shopping for sure.
Book your child's eye exam today at Optical Outlook. Call 746-2020. Get half off a complete pair of glasses with any student's eye exam now until August 31st. Come see the difference with Optical Outlook, located in Caymanian Village.
Have you ever felt that there is something bigger out there for you? Something more positive, something more powerful, something all good, something bigger than yourself? Do you want to give back to this community, your community? Together, Rotary Central, Rotary Sunrise, and the Rotary Club of Grand Cayman are hosting a membership meet and greet social Thursday, August 15th at Pepper's Restaurant, 5 to 7 p.m. Come along. Bring a friend. Find out what Rotary is all about, what Rotary is doing in your community. So, see you there, Thursday, August 15th at Pepper's Restaurant, 5 to 7 p.m. We're looking forward to meeting you. Rotary, connecting the world.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We have about 12 minutes left in the show. Phone lines have been closed off now. We want to give our panel an opportunity to respond to one of the callers, Ms. Jern. We hadn't gotten the opportunity to give you the time to respond.
Yeah. Thank you very much, O.C. I thank Katrina for calling in this morning. Let me give some input from my side of it. The environmental impact assessment, as she's very well aware, was done on the overall square footage that the government said was available to build the cruise berthing facility on. We have added on to that since, because we were looking at the expansion into the cargo. Obviously, that we have made a statement during the press conference and in some of the relevant radio shows that we are not going to dredge Hogstye Bay now. And the environmental study that has been done by Beard on the areas that with cruise berthing has been proposed to be built will now be rescoped. And areas that have been included in the new design build performer sent in will now be rescoped and looked at, and that will be made available to the Environmental Assessment Board. They will review it and they'll make recommendations, and that will be the environmental side. There will be a public consultation meeting once that has been looked at, and then we can have the discussion about how many acres is it really, what is the impact. I mean, what we have been able to accomplish is every bit of information that we now have, we are putting it out, and as we get more information, we will continue. So questions that Katrina has asked are very important for us to get the answers for, and we're quite pleased to try to do that as quickly as possible. But our efforts are to, as we get the information, to put it out. A couple other things that she made mention of. One was that the government or the cruise berthing facility, because of the $200 million cost, meant we would pay back $400 million, I believe, was a statement that was made. And we don't disagree with that there will be a large payback on any type of mortgage, basically the same way as if you were buying a house. What we do know is that if our numbers are $2+ million per year, and we get as a country $10 for each one of those that arrive here, and you do that over the 25-year license, we are going to get $600 million with no capital investment presented to the government in that 25-year license period based on the same numbers that the repayment she looked at. So that in itself, I think, is apples to apples, and that's the way you have to look at a deal that's being put together. The other part was when we looked at the number of hours that a ship actually stays. She mentioned, I think, the BRIA report. It's approximately an hour, but 40 minutes, 50 minutes an hour. Let's just say we acknowledge that there will be more time spent at berth. It'll make it easier, and your time will be made to where you can utilize it better. I think we all have to admit that. And when, again, we use the 2 million passengers a year, and if you give them 20 to 25% more time ashore based on their average spend, that means you're going to have $50 million more spent, injected into our economy at the local spend that we have now. And we assume that our spend is going to go up. So we look at it and believe that we will create an environment that will allow visitors to our shore to spend $150 million or more per year. So this, from the economic investment, the economic injection into the Cayman Islands, is very, very positive.
Okay. The elections office yesterday issued a press release, updated figures and summary submissions. As the verification process on the cruise port referendum petition signatures moves forward, the elections office would like to inform the public on its current progress. As of 9 a.m., that is yesterday, 30th of July, the elections office reported a total of 3,705 petition signatures have been confirmed out of a total submission of 5,637 petition signatures to be verified. Through the collection of signature verification forms, officials have now reviewed 70% required to meet the constitutional requirement of 25% of registered voters, which is 5,292 signatures. Officials confirm that 76 petitioners have declined to sign the official verification forms. The elections office continues to accept petition signatures submitted by the CPR group and is in some cases receiving verification forms in advance of the next CPR submission. In the latter case, cases, persons have stated that they recently signed a petition and have asked for their signatures to be verified at the elections office or at a local supermarket verification booths in advance of the CPR submitting the signatures for verification. With each submission, the CPR group has reported and the elections office has confirmed a number of signatures that were excluded from verification. These excluded signatures are not included in the submitted totals or verified totals. The following is a summary of 2 CPR submissions. On the 12th of June 2019, 6,053 signatures were delivered by the CPR group during the official handover. 241 of those signatures the CPR reported as being multiple submissions, that is, persons signing more than once. 374 signatures the CPR reported as not. I lost that. Trying to do this on the 374 signatures the CPR reported as not corresponding with the current electoral register, that is, signatures from non-voters. 5,438 the total signatures submitted by the CPR for verification. On 11th of July 2019, 229 signatures were handed over by the CPR group. 16 of those signatures were reported to be multiple submissions. 14 of the signatures were reported as corresponding with the current electoral register. 199 the total signatures submitted by CPR for verification. Supervisor of Elections, Mr. Russell Howell, notes, quote, with each of the submissions, the CPR performed its own assessment on its petition signatures to help in ensuring validity of the process, and the CPR team worked to eliminate the names of non-voters in keeping with Section 70 of the Cayman Islands Constitution Order 2009. I would like to thank the CPR team for their continued support in helping to expedite the verification process. And it goes on to say that they will continue to provide weekly progress reports to His Excellency, the Governor. A couple of things are instrumental in there, in that, one, while a final list was submitted, it appears as if signatures are still being accepted. There has been no cutoff date for the receipt of signatures, Mr. Premier?
No, there's no cutoff date because the Constitution doesn't provide for one. So at the end of next month, which is roughly when they expect the process to be completed, the CPR would have been at this process of trying to get 25% of signatures for a year, which is why we have said we will not enter into a contract until at least the 1st of October to make sure that there is ever opportunity. But at some point, the government, and the legal advice we have is clear about this, the government can't be kept indefinitely from proceeding with a major project just because there is a petition on the way. The reason why, and it's not a legal requirement, it's a practical it's a practical decision, and also one based on our abiding respect for the constitutional provision. They have alleged, CPR have alleged, that they have sufficient signatures, and there is a verification process on the way by the elections office. So we are honoring the people's right to petition in this way, assuming they reach the requisite number. But I just want to quickly address the point. I see there's a story in CNS claiming that the statistics prove that what I said at the press briefing is not so. You've just read and confirmed that CPR have submitted signatures. It's more than 640 of them which are not registered voters, signatures of registered voters, or there are duplicates or triplicates of such signatures. My point is not that CPR haven't said to the elections office that there are problems with these. My point is that in the absence of a proper verification process, what do we think was going to happen with respect to those?
I was going to ask you the question, what do you say to those persons who question the fact that you're going through a verification process?
Right.
And I pointed out before that I thought that it would be irresponsible of the government to simply accept signatures without going through a verification process, despite the fact that some people have said, well, when I signed a petition, the people there went to pains to ensure that I was registered. They asked for identification and various things, but we see that even with all of that scrutiny, that there's still some defects.
So to your earlier point, it would be unconstitutional for the government to accept a petition which does not bear the signatures of at least 25% of the registered voters. The Constitution, Section 7, it doesn't say almost 25%. Approximately 25%. It says 25%. We are, assuming they reach the number, we are invoking a very important provision which is going to result in the electorate having to come out and vote. It is going to cost the best part of $1.5 million to do the exercise. So we, as a government, respect the people's right to petition for this. We will ensure that, assuming they reach the numbers, that the process is carried out properly. But those who are presenting the petition must also have respect and regard for the constitutional provision. And that means that the petition they present must meet the 25% of registered voters threshold.
Mm-hmm. And that is registered voters, not persons who are eligible to be registered as a voter. You have to be a registered voter.
Right, and as we had heard anecdotally before, and as we are increasingly seeing and hearing now on this show, on the previous show, and offline, because people are messaging us all the time, many people have signed the petition without fully understanding what it was about. They knew it was about the port, but what the effect of it was going to be. And so I repeat for those people who are asking questions, if you do not, having had the benefit of the information the government has provided, if you do not wish to support the holding of a referendum, please go to the elections office, let them know, and have your name deleted. No one else can do that but you. But you have the right to say, I withdraw my support for the petition, given the information that I now know, of which I was previously unaware. And that is good up until the day that the petition is actually presented to the cabinet.
Okay. I want to thank three of you gentlemen for being on For the Record this morning, for again imparting vital information to our audience. Folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman and by extension For the Record into your homes, into your vehicles, as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands into your places of work, whether it be an office cubicle or if you're working in the outdoors. I also want to remind you that we are our brothers and our sisters' keepers. There is always someone out there who's less fortunate than we are, and I ask you to extend a helping hand to them. If you can't do that, then I suggest you donate to a worthy charity, because we always want to consider those who need, not necessarily those who want, or even those who crave. I say to you, have a great day. Continue to support your radio station, Radio Cayman. Join Sterling, Dwayne Ebanks at 12:15 for Talk Today. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Cayman Pharmacy Group, with a location in West Bay and professional pharmacy at CTMH Doctors Hospital. The Cayman Pharmacy Group has a location for you just around the corner. Seaboard Marine, with over 35 shipping ports, find your shipping solution by calling 949-4977 or visit seaboardmarine.com for competitive rates. Rotary Central, for more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. Fidelity Bank, for all your banking needs, visit fidelitygroup.com. Fidelity, we're good for you. And Roper's Janitorial, complete janitorial service for commercial, industrial, and residential. They get the job done right every time.